Wake up, Adam, they are getting close.
Everybody on a mushroom cloud nine. Everybody here doing just fine. All right, what is going on, guys? It is Adam, aka Marf, and this is Marfoogle News. Today, we have a lot to go over in a short amount of time, so remember, you can always go over to our website, marfooglenews.com, and you can find every single article, tweet, video, picture, document that we're going to show you here today. Over there, you will find that you will look for today's thumbnail, and it is very easy to find. It is up at the top left if you are doing this today. And then click on that. You'll find a full bibliography of every single article, tweet, video, picture, document that we're going to show you here today. Plus a whole lot more down at the bottom. There's overflow, all the stuff that could not fit into a 2-hour time period, or the stuff that will get you in a fight at a bar. So make sure to go there as well. Also, check out marfooglenews.com/friends. You can find all of our mods and, of course, all of the great creators that we have, of course, known over the years. Let's bring in my co/internet brother, Dex James. What is going on, and how are you doing today?
Well, hello, Adam, and hello, Foogle fam. I'm doing just fine.
So, first of all, we have Taiwan reports second large-scale China Air Force incursion this week. It looks like 10 Chinese Air Force aircraft entered Taiwan's air defense zone on Wednesday, accompanying 5 Chinese warships engaged in combat readiness patrols. The Island Defense Ministry said that the second such incursion this week. Taiwan, which China claims is its territory, has repeatedly complained of Chinese military activity near it over the past 3 years, as Beijing steps up pressure to try to force the island to accept its sovereignty. Taiwan's defense ministry said that starting around 9 a.m., it detected a total of 25 Chinese aircraft engaging in operations out at sea, including J-10 and J-16 fighters, as well as H-6 bombers. Of those aircraft, the ministry said that 10 had either crossed the median line of the Taiwan Strait, which previously served as an unofficial barrier between the two sides. So this is nothing. This is nothing out of the ordinary, or at least it is. It's nothing out of the ordinary now, because this has been going on for now at least a year, where they have passed this median line. But it is almost on a weekly basis that we cover something like this, and of course, a lot of folks are looking at not just this event, but what is happening around the world and what is happening with China itself in the last couple of weeks. People are worried that this is part of an escalation. So we will, of course, talk about this and everything else today when we get right back. Nothing in this show should be considered legal, medical, or financial advice. The views of the callers can differ considerably and do not necessarily reflect my opinion, Dex's opinion, or anyone else who works with the show. You should always do your own research and consult with professionals. The internet is full of fake news, so please take everything with a grain of salt. If you have not already, it helps us out if you end up going through any of our affiliates, and it helps you out if you end up protecting yourself against cybercrime. NordVPN is one of the best and one of the easiest to use. If you do not have a virtual private network, it protects your IP address, which is your online identity, which actually connects to your real address and everything else. It also connects to you. If you know anything about how they are data logging and basically getting your profiles down, you can prevent that by having a VPN. Nord is, again, one of the easiest. Download it. It's like an on switch and off switch. All you have to do. Go to marfooglenews.com/VPN. Not only will you get a giant discount on this, but you will also be helping us. I appreciate your support, and I appreciate everyone that goes through any of our affiliates. Can't say thank you enough. Multiple people are feared dead after apocalyptic wildfires in Hawaii are leaving dozens trapped residents diving into the water to escape the blaze, and hundreds more forced to flee cars stuck in traffic during Exodus. This sounds a whole lot like what happened to Greece a few years ago. We actually covered that, and it was really terrifying to see that the fires were entrapping people to the point where they had to actually jump in the water. Dex, this is really insane. My family actually, I have family that stayed there for a very, very long time in Maui. So I'm sure I haven't talked to them yet since it came out, but I'm sure there's a lot of folks that know each other there, praying for the people in Maui. If you see some of the pictures and videos, this is like really terrifying. Some of the worst photos I've seen in a long time. Do they know if they have this under control yet?
I haven't heard that they're under control, but it certainly sounds like it really caught a lot of people off guard. I mean, people were stuck in homes, and as they said, having to escape via water, literally diving into the water. And I think we'll cover in the next article about what happened to an entire town there.
Yeah, so, and some of the pictures of this are really, really bad. If you look from the sky, you can see that it's all ablaze. Some of the photos actually show kind of in between houses and homes, and the flames are like, it's almost like one of those tunnels, like a tunnel of fire. It looks something out of sci-fi. Honestly, I can't even describe it. And it says that much of historic Lahaina town, believed destroyed as huge wildfire, sends people fleeing into the water. Eyewitnesses described an apocalyptic scene on Tuesday, Lahaina town, where residents were forced to jump into the harbor waters to avoid fast-moving flames in a massive brush fire that's destroyed much of the historic area and continues to burn. Residents say that an overwhelmed fire force fighting flames all day amid powerful winds could do as little as flames have ripped through the historic community, destroying dozens of homes and businesses in what onlookers believe is the worst natural disaster in Hawaii's history since Hurricane Iniki. It said that acting Governor Sylvia Luke confirmed that the Hawaii National Guard has been activated to help respond to the sprawling fire crisis, which also includes raging wildfires. The flames have been forced thousands from their homes to many that aren't sure that they'll find when they return. Officials confirmed to Hawaii News now that the Coast Guard deployed a helicopter and boat to Front Street Beach and Lahaina Small Boat Harbor to rescue a number of people from the water. As flames tear through the historic business district, of course, it is heartbreaking. About 10:50 p.m., the Coast Guard said that it rescued a dozen people from waters off Lahaina. It said that the full scope of the devastation of Lahaina isn't known, but videos on social media show a terrifying wall of flames descending from Front Street in Lahaina and destroying everything in its path. One heart-stopping video posted by fleeing residents shows uncontrolled flames in all directions. The video shows burned-out cars, but there was no immediate word on injuries. Lahaina resident Tiara Lawrence compared the scene to something out of the apocalypse, with people running for their lives. It's just so hard. I'm currently up country, and just knowing that I can't get a hold of my family members, I still don't know where my little brother is. I don't know where my stepdad is, she said. Everyone I know in Lahaina, their homes have burned down. So this is really terrible. Again, this is like, things happen overseas, and people, immediately raise funds to help people, but often when it's in an American U.S. state, it doesn't. So I hope that these people will get some help, especially since, we should be taking care of stuff here. If something like this happens where, you have a whole town that has lost their homes, what happens then? It's really, really sad, and I'm praying for all of the people that are there and that their lives work out. I mean, literally, if you lose your home, you lose everything. So, again, this is really, really messed up. I don't know if there's any kind of theories about what's going on with this, but this was pretty crazy. If you see the pictures, you'll know exactly what I mean. Do we know if this is a smaller town or a bigger town? Because I know from what I see, it looks like kind of almost a village, but Dex, do you know if this is what is the population? Do we know of Lahaina?
I do not know, but I can look it up. Hang on.
All right, and then quote, buildings on both sides were engulfed. There was no fire trucks at that point. I think the fire department was overwhelmed, Dakar said. That is the most important business street on Maui. Wow. So it is hitting some crazy places here. Go ahead.
It's about 13,000.
Wow, that's actually not that small of a town. When I was on Orcas Island, they had I think 5,000. Maybe they had 8,000. And then of course, a place like Ocean Shores has like 5,000. So this is it's a pretty big town. That's really, really horrendous. But not as horrendous as our next story. This is absolutely nuts, and personally, I think that a lot of the alien stuff is trying to distract from everything else. But at this point, I wouldn't be surprised if something crazy happened. So first of all, before we continue, I do want to say thank you. It looks like we had a super chat before the show started, so thank you. I appreciate that. It looks like we had, what was that, mystery? No. Let's see. Nana of Montana, thank you so much for your support. Says, Adam, glad you are back. Dex did a wonderful job covering for Adam. Thank you. Mods, have you all always been awesome. Foogle fam, what can I say? I love y'all. Hey, well, thank you, Nana, and I appreciate that. Thank you. And thank you for supporting. And then Carol, thank you. I appreciate that as well. And Carol, thank you for your support yesterday as well, along with Mystery School, Craig Alicious, Mitch Mouth, and Be Real Beast, C-Mac, Carol White, Zen1AZ, Liz Potter, and Mark Waugh. Thank you, Liz, by the way. I appreciate that. So this is crazy. If these things start happening, okay, so first of all, we had the Las Vegas thing where this kid and this family basically saw 8-foot aliens in their backyard in Las Vegas. Now, what happens in Las Vegas this time actually didn't stay in Las Vegas, and it was globally talked about for like a week. And this is right before that lady on the plane thing that happened, and people were legitimately freaked out. At the same time, after these kids, before these kids saw that 8-foot alien, they actually saw this green thing come out of the sky. Other people actually got it on tape. In fact, one of the police officers got it on their dash cam coming down, and then all of a sudden he's got 8-foot aliens. Now, it wasn't taken seriously until about a month later when they got the body cams. And once you see the body cams, you see that these kids this family's like, yeah, they were right there and they were standing there. But of course, people are going to doubt that. They're skeptical. And now you have terrified Peruvian villagers claim that they are under attack from a 7-foot-tall aliens dubbed face peelers. Terrified Peruvian villagers claim to be under relentless attack by 7-feet-tall aliens known as face peelers, prompting night patrols and pleas for military assistance. A group of Peruvian villagers are living in fear as they believe they are under attack by mysterious 7-foot-tall aliens. They have named Las Pelacaras, which translates to the face peelers. In a remote district of Alto Nene, located northeast of Lima, members of the Iquito tribe, hailing from San Antonio Native community, have recounted chilling encounters with these extraterrestrial beings. Descriptions of the alleged extraterrestrial beings include large heads, yellowish eyes, and immunity to the villagers, to their hunting weapons. It says some villagers have likened the aliens to mythical pelicaros from folklore, creatures said to feast on human faces, fat, and organs. Like, this is absolutely wild. Villagers claim that these enigmatic figures, often shrouded in dark-colored hoods, have been targeting their community for nearly a month. Since July 11th, multiple incidents have been reported, with the most recent involving a 15-year-old girl who was hospitalized after a confrontation with the, quote, aliens. It says, according to community leader Jairo Requiocoto Davila, the girl narrowly escaped an encounter, but not without injury. As a result of the struggle, they cut off part of her neck. This doesn't sound like aliens. This sounds like trafficking or something. This is nuts. Fearing for their safety, the villagers have taken matters into their own hands. Night patrols have been organized by the community to protect women, children, and the vulnerable members of the village. They have appealed to authorities for military intervention to address the perceived ongoing threats. Local media reports that many villagers are unable to sleep due to the heightened state of fear. So this is just hypothetically, if you were to take this serious and this was going on, this is really just freaky, the times we're living in right now, where people are even taking this kind of stuff serious. And if it is happening, that's even wilder. And I don't think most people can even wrap their heads around some sort of alien. Many studies have looked at and seen, basically, if we do have aliens out there, just by the numbers, not all of them are going to be good. In fact, the odds are is they're going to be malevolent in character. So this is nuts. Dex, this is like being taken seriously by some pretty high up names, and I'm like kind of surprised. Do you think this is a distraction? Probably so we don't look at Hunter or something else. I mean, this is really off the cuff.
This is also odd because it's coming from a remote village. It's not coming from, some people looking for fame or, to become TikTok famous or sell some books or testify before Congress. I mean, these are just villagers. Like, they're worried about their hunting weapons working, not their cell phones and stuff. So, and as a matter of fact, I think one of the pictures is one of the gentlemen that had been injured in addition to that girl. And I believe they described, in addition to the description you gave earlier, they actually said one of the community leader that came sort of face to face with them said that they had round shaped shoes and they can float. And he had saw one of them that was like over a meter off the ground floating. So a lot of people, there's a lot of reports, okay?
Like walking
a lot of
on
information,
water. like Jesus
or water
or
in air.
Yeah,
on water or in air, because one of them was a meter in the air. So it's, and with all of these reports coming from this village, it's really interesting. Now, there's certainly a lot of, potentials. Like you said, it could be, humans doing this to them to scare them. It could be, they even went so far as to say it could be a case of mass hysteria, which, gosh, we haven't heard of that happening in ages. But it also could be something strange is happening there, and we don't really know. But now they are investigating this. So the police and the Navy are part of it, at least from the investigating the claims. They haven't said they're getting involved yet.
And this is Peru. Peru has a history with obviously Peruvian legends and things like that, but even just finding artifacts and things there that say that they think that there was extraterrestrials there thousands upon thousands of years ago. Even if you put aside, if you have really just hardcore, belief, even if you think about this for a minute, it is really quite freaky. But of course, many of us have been thinking that there was going to be some sort of either fake or some sort of alien invasion of some sort, that they would possibly push to have us all get under one umbrella. I mean, how far would the people that run this planet go to actually get us all under the same umbrella, to have us all under kind of a global rule? Would it be us versus the aliens that would, unite us under one flag or something? I mean, like, this is really, really ridiculous. Again, what if this was true? This is just absolutely nuts. It says, we have met almost face to face. His face is hardly visible. I have seen his whole body floating at the height of 1 meter. He said, suggesting that the being was hovering. The group has now requested a military presence from the authorities. However, it reportedly takes a 10-hour river trip to reach the community from Iquitos City. It says, we need support for our community. The children do not sleep, and the mothers stay up all night. They appear to be armored. I shot one of them twice, and he wasn't injured. He rose and disappeared. Theories about what the aliens are range from them being real aliens or creatures from folklore to a potential hoax. It has been suggested that the, quote, beings could be drones covered with cloth and masks to scare the locals from illegal miners. Others have suggested sightings could be a case of mass hysteria. So they're literally going with like the Scooby-Doo theory in one card. One card they're playing is the Scooby-Doo thing. Like, there's illegal miners there, and they're trying to scare the locals away. Well, you got to get Scooby-Doo and Shaggy over there and get those meddling kids there, I guess. What do you guys think? Let's do a quick poll, and I'll pull up the chat on screen. How many of you think this is legit? How many of you, or what do you think? One, if you think it is completely legit and it is what they say. Two, if you think that it's something totally made up. Or three, give us your answer. What do you think this is? And I'll actually put that on screen. Let's see here. So one, if you think it's legit. Two, if you think it's not. And three, give me your answer. I would love to see what you think it is. She's a wildflower. Psy-op. Comet Moon does not. Sarah, Widow Prepper, Rolf K, Virginia Olsen, Widow Prepper, Sarah, and Johnson think it's real. Darla Jones, Greg Chance. So there's a lot of folks that believe that this could be legit. I'm open-minded. I really honestly think that if, why would they lie? It's a little village. But if there's outside kind of puppet masters at work, then I could see that. And it's Peru. If they were going to fake something, I would believe they would probably do it somewhere like that, because obviously they know we're relatively smart and we'll go 2 + 2. Oh, Peru is where all of the ancient alien stuff happens. So apparently they're not the nicest aliens. And is this something that happens all the time? They're saying that just out of the blue, these things are coming down and just attacking people and taking flesh and things. Like, this is disturbing. What do you think? Let me know in the comments down below, and appreciate everybody for making it. Before we move on, if you haven't already, make sure to go over and check out marfooglenews.com/EMP. EMP, electromagnetic pulse, and CME, or at least the Carrington level event that could happen from one of them, is 2 of the most probable and most realistic scenarios for SHTF. So if you do want to protect yourself from that, most preppers already have this in their arsenal, but if you don't, an EMP shield can be quickly wired into your car in less than 10 minutes and protect it to where it can actually go after multiple EMP strikes or a Carrington level event from the sun. So go over to marfooglenews.com/EMP. Make sure to use the code MARF. And again, that will not only give us credit, but it will give you a $50 off discount per device. So if you have multiple vehicles to outrig, then you can do so at a discount. Also, they have a version for your home, your generators, your solar generators, and even your ham radio. So there's one for pretty much everything. This is the same company that's been outfitting agencies like DHS, DOD, and now the DEMSO team helping protect the Texas grid. It's Keystone military tested, and you definitely want to go check that out. marfooglenews.com/EMP. And make sure to ask about the EMP Shield Micro, because it is 1/4 of the size of the regular version. And again, that can fit into almost anything. You just do the red to red, black to black, and green to ground. 3 wires to hook up in your car, and you're protected. All right, and then Biden unveils plans to screen U.S. investments in China. Well, apparently he doesn't care about screening China coming into our border, but if you want to put money into China, then apparently they'll screen that. Dex, do you want to talk about how the executive order that he issued on Wednesday?
Yeah, so this is kind of a strong executive order. It's basically not allowing us Americans to do investing in specific companies, and it's giving, I guess, the government the ability to review. The Treasury Department will either review the proposed investments or what you may be doing, or it'll be flat out already identified as not allowed. They're saying they're doing this because of national security. It's not an economic decision. They're doing it because of about a lot of the advancements in technology and AI and other things that they don't want our technology being used, and they don't want our money being used to finance the technology coming out of China in that category. They'd rather it stay here or go to our allies, not our adversaries.
Well, so they say Beijing Biden, right? And then he does stuff like this, and it makes it's so confusing to. Is this all part of a longer kind of game plan, or are they trying to start a war? Are they doing something behind the gates? Really pertinent comment here. Justin True says, Adam, half of Maui is gone. At least 100 are perished. I think that's what you meant. 100 gone. Justin True, this is not a call-in night, but man, I don't know if we can try to get Justin True on, but it would be kind of cool to find out from a local like how bad that thing is. That sounds really, really bad. Justin True is saying like half of Maui is gone right now. That is really disturbing. I believe my sister's husband and parts of their family might actually still be out there. They're no longer together, but I think that his side of the family is still in Maui. So, geez, that's very, very concerning. Gen X Voice, thanks for the show. It's been my go-to for years. Praying for your pup. Prep your faith. Thank you. And I stayed up. And by the way, guys, I'm kind of fried. I stayed up all night. I drove around at least 7 hours trying to find our dog, and it was pretty nasty. My dog sitter lives in Bothell and lost the dog. Anyways, it was not fun. And then Gen X Voice, thanks for the show again. Thank you, Gen X Voice. And then West of the West, truly the only news I use. Great job last week, Dex J, and love to the entire fam and mods. Prayer, Adam family is everything. Thank you. Hey, West of the West, thank you. And then Nana of Montana. Adam, glad you are back. Dex did a wonderful job covering for Adam. Thank you. Mods, have you all always awesome. Foog fam, what can I say? I love you. And then Awakened Believer, I'm from Peru, and in Peruvian news, it was reported that a group of illegal miners scaring the villagers so that they could continue with their illegal operations. Awakened Believer. So that is one of the options they said in there. That's straight up a plot to a real-life Scooby-Doo movie. I mean, is it not? Like, illegal miners are literally, like, putting on costumes and scaring the villagers. I mean, call Scooby-Doo. Those meddling kids will figure it out. And then Elisa Douglas, thank you so much for your support. Thank you. Again, I appreciate your support. I hope that was purposeful. I'm bummed to have a huge telescope and have known no luck seeing a UAP in Iowa. Maybe they don't fly by farmers. LOL. Lisa, I don't think that if you look for them, I don't think you'll find them. I think you just got to kind of look up. But obviously, I guess if you're looking up in a telescope, maybe you're too zoomed out. I would say just look with your plain eyes and then look. But yeah, and then thank you, Carol, Mystery School, and thank you, Lisa Douglas. I appreciate that. And then China's war planners are leaning harder on its militia. So the main part to pull out of this is the militia itself. It says a late June exercise in Hunan province saw members of China's militia taking on growing responsibility, including piloting drones, driving assault boats, and manning command and control vehicles, while the People's Liberation Army has for years relied on its reserve auxiliary force for supplementary support. The recent exercises point towards a larger direct role, even as some sources allude to potential strains in the system. China's militia system, which includes up to 8 million personnel, dwarfs its uniformed service. It makes heavy use of demobilized veterans and civilian organizations, which have signed cooperation agreements with their local PLA base. During times of emergency, these personnel would be deployed to complement the local PLA force. So basically, any of the older guys that had served in the military, and they're probably just as brainwashed as the regular guys, they are still in the military, and they're basically volunteering to still be a part of this. But what's even crazier is this is 8 million militia members, and they have access to all of the stuff that China's military does. China's military, the PLA, are essentially utilizing all these 8 million soldiers. Now, I believe, Dex, you can correct me if I'm wrong, that their regular manned army is about 2 million people. It could even be higher than that. Like active duty. That's insane. They have one of the largest armies in the world already. And then when you add 8 million militia to that, that is absolutely insane. Not to mention, we have all of this weird kind of stuff going on the border. If you take a peek at that picture up in the upper middle of this thumbnail, that is actually one of the gentlemen from the Muckrakers, I think it was. The video, basically, there are videos of these guys who are military age, and we're talking about 18 through 22, and they're all coming together. They all have shaved haircuts. They literally look like they're straight out of boot camp, and these guys are being given documents on how to essentially scam our system to get in our southern border. Like, this is absolutely nuts. What is happening is they're passing around these documents how to even kind of scam our asylum rules and to get around them. It's an entire, very detailed thing, who to pay, who to grease their pocket to be able to get through here, to do that, to do that, and it's all being shared via this WeChat account that was essentially giving this to all these people. Now, when you look at them, they're all 18 to 23-year-old, military-aged Asian Chinese men. It's like, what is going on here? And then, get this. This is the part that they say is documented. Once they get across the U.S. border, they have these kind of checkpoints and kind of smaller, these kind of what they call the hotel. And once they're getting across the border, they're actually slicing a chicken and then drinking the blood of it. May sound some crazy stuff, but that's actually a ritual of the PLA. So it's like, what the hell is going on here? Now, when you see this, you wonder, maybe those guys are actually part of the militia. But I don't know. The militia sounds like it's the older guys. So, Dex, what do you think when you see this? Like, that means it could be over 10 million soldiers that are like ready and willing to go.
Yeah, that's a huge number. The 8 million, and like you said, it is 2 million is the size of their active. It's 500,000 for their reserve. But and to see, you would think sometimes in like the civilian capacity or this militia civilian capacity, they would be doing smaller things. But they're commanding drones. They're taking boats. They're doing all sorts of tactics and things that you would expect active duty to be doing. So if you question what's coming across the border, then there's no reason you can't question, is there a connection here?
No, and people should be questioning everything right now. As far as we don't know what is actually, and I mean, mind you, just this last week they found a lab that was going on, and it had all sorts of shady stuff going on, all sorts of dirty things in that lab. And it's like, what the heck is happening here? Seems to me like something way, way bigger is coming, and most people are just going to kind of put their head in the sand. And then China-Russia flotilla near Aleutians prompt calls for naval base in Alaska. Dex, do you want to go over this?
Well, as we reported, we talked about this in this joint exercise. It was almost an armada, like 11 joint ships from Russia and China were close to 12 miles. They did not cross the 12-mile mark, which would leave them still in international water, but they were right there by the southwestern portion of Alaska. And it was the closest we have ever seen this many warships come together, let alone from two countries, even more so from two countries that are our adversaries, right there off our shores. And what did we do? We put some P-8 Poseidons in the air, because that was about the only thing we could do. We then turned some of our other ships that were in the Pacific in their direction. But come on, we know that turning them in their direction, if they're, thousands and thousands of miles away, they're not going to get there anytime soon running 22 knots, just doesn't happen. But we certainly made as best of a scene as we could. We certainly made as best of an attempt, but what we didn't do was put ships right on top of them immediately. We weren't right there in their face. We didn't respond in a greater way than putting up a few P-8s and patrolling around them. Not to say that was nothing, it was something, but they're suggesting now that, look, if Alaska is so important for many reasons, and outside of it just being our state and our territory and our land, but we have a huge investment in military up there. We've got bases up there. We've got equipment up there. We have tons of probably things that we don't even talk about or know about that are trying to detect what's coming across from Russia, and now from China, more so from Russia up there across the Arctic. So with all of that investment and not having a naval base there sort of says, hey, we don't have the ability to respond quickly to the Navy outside of the air. All we can do is respond to the air. And that was it. So I think that's the question that's now being floated probably by a lot of politicians. They'll jump on this as an opportunity.
And Alaska could be in some sort of point of entrance. I mean, like, this is one of these times they could be practicing for a future event. And I guess where my head goes is all of this stuff going on with people already possibly infiltrating the company, sleeper cells into the country, sleeper cells that activate, and politicians that might have their pockets greased. I mean, you're looking at sort of a Red Dawn scenario. And that's a movie. And it's a fictional story in a book, but it's like when you look at what's happening, could this be, Hollywood predicting the truth or predicting, predictive programming? It honestly looks like something is happening right now. Not to mention all of the DoD white papers and the White House and the Pentagon basically saying that something is going down right now. The exports and the imports, how we're basically not getting anything from them. They're saying that we're going to go back to everything made in America again. Then what reason is there for China to kind of be friendly with us at that point? I don't know. Seems very, very fishy. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments down below. And at the same time, huge event happened. Camera angles of this from all over the place caught this giant mushroom cloud in Russia. It looms near Moscow after drone attack on missile parts plant as worker describes whistle, flash, and roar. A mushroom cloud erupted near Moscow after a suspected drone attack on a missile parts plant. The explosion at Zagorsky plant near the capital blew out windows in nearby apartments and sent flames and smokes billowing hundreds of feet into the sky in Russia. The extraordinary pictures show the towering pillar of smoke and fire after the mega blast at the plant in Sergiev Posad. Witnesses reported a whistle, flash, and a roar. So the whistle of a missile going by, and then the sound. So it hit fast as the blast rocked the factory in Moscow region. Early reports that pinned the explosion on a drone attack were later denied by Russian officials, but people in the area reported seeing something flying towards the building. At least 49 people are reported to have been injured, and witnesses said plant used to make optics for missiles, jets, night vision goggles, and rifle scopes is in ruins. It says 6 people in serious condition, and it's feared that up to 5 people may be buried under the rubble. It's understood that the blast happened in a warehouse containing pyrotechnic equipment. So, as far as, let's see here. This is the one of the images here of the mushroom type cloud. I almost think it was one of those, Dex, what did they call those autonomous kind of missiles that UK sent them recently? They had a special name. If anybody in
Storm Shadows?
Yeah.
I don't know if they go that far.
Well, that would even be worse if they were closer. So drones?
The drones are the ones that are making it. This is the same distance they were getting in Moscow. So, yeah.
So drones can go that far?
Likely the drones. Yeah, the ones that UKR has been building and launching, I can't remember the name of them, but yeah, their homemade drones have been going that far.
What? How? I'm just curious on how that would work. How do they get the signal that far? Maybe there's something I am totally ignorant of, though. That is, yeah. It doesn't look that big, but when you look at how big the windows are here, I mean that is gigantic. Some of the other angles and some of the videos show it just towering above, like it's the tallest skyscraper you've seen. It's there's some on-the-ground videos done from a few blocks away. And of course, they were telling them to keep calm and not to panic. So we'll see what happens with this. Any one of these events could secretly be something else. This could be a 3-letter agency or something that, helped commit some sort of atrocity or something. You never know. This could be a missile that took off from an area that had U.S. soldiers, or it could have straight up been a secret NATO thing. Who knows? But at this point, that is a pretty big explosion right there, right near Moscow. So we'll see what they do back. All right, and then Dex, go ahead.
At the version of the article we're talking about here, I think a lot of the information they had to go by was what was being told to them from Russia's side, which is why they say firework or pyrotechnics plant. Since then, a lot of people have been doing investigations and found contracts out of that building and out of that plant that, of course, were cut off immediately. They stopped publishing that information as soon as the conflict started last year. But a lot of it showed that it was actually potentially a stealth drone facility. or not drone, but stealth boomer facility, which would also go hand in hand with some of their nuclear capabilities. So, much more coveted target if that's truly what it is. Now, all this is based off of third party trying to research this and try to dig in and see what they can find, because it's hard to always trust or it's hard to believe what you're given from the locals and the local media when it's against them. They're gonna paint a pretty picture. So yeah, don't worry, it's just a pyrotechnics facility. Well, maybe not. It actually looks like it was something much more serious. And if so, that would make the target much more obvious as to why it was hit.
And we might not ever know because they don't ever give us the full truth on these things, but we'll see the reactions, I guess. And then Bible Talk 777, thank you. Says, hope your dog is safe and returned to you. Last week saw a dog get hit with owner running after it. It was screaming, laying there, pissed me off. She let that happen. Your dog sitter never should be trusted again. Yeah. There was sort of an excuse, but yeah, I get you. But thank you for giving me the lovely image of the dog getting hit. Love you, Bible Talk. Thank you, though. Thank you for your support. And then Lola Cafe, thank you so much for your support as well. And then Thoth 777, thank you. There's a lot of 777s tonight. All right, thank you. And then I don't know. Sharon is correct. And what did Sharon say? It says, the world is crazy. All governments are against the people. I triple that notion. At least most of them. I don't know. Is there a good, awesome government that represents the people and is gung-ho about what we want? I don't know. I used to think, Canada must be awesome. Sorry. Got a low chuckle out of that one. Trudeau cares about his people. Sorry, Canada. Blame Canada. Blame Canada. If you want backup power and one of the best solar generators, go over to marfooglenews.com/energy, INERGY. It's modular. It can be expanded up to 96 batteries. It's absolutely silent. You cannot hear this from 3 blocks away. If you do lose power, and if everybody loses power, one of the best things about this is it's completely stealth. You can run it inside your house, and again, it can be expanded, modded, altered, and it is just an amazing system. So make sure to go over and check it out, marfooglenews.com/energy. That is the Flex 1500. Works like Lego, stacks. It is an amazing system. Now they have made it even better. Now it's been redesigned with the Air Force Research Laboratory, and now it actually got a huge military contract with the Army. These are going to be shipping out with the SBIR Phase 2 contract. And these are as tough as nails. Built like a truck, steel reinforced, have latches that connect all of the batteries, which again, you can stack these like Legos. This thing could fall off a truck and still run. Plus built-in heaters in each battery. It's the best of the best. If you like a tactical version of everything, then this is the one. Most people would be totally fine with the regular Flex 1500, but I would say if you want the toughest of the tough, this would be it. And then they also have the X2, which is, again, it depends on when they get new ones in, but make sure to go check those out. marfooglenews.com/energy, INERGY, and make sure to use the code Marfoogle. All right, and let's see here. Russia says shot down 2 Ukrainian drones headed for Moscow. So after this whole mushroom cloud business, apparently at the same time there was some other stuff going on. And they say that they knocked 2 drones out that were headed right towards their capital. 2 Ukrainian combat drones headed for Moscow were shot down, Russian officials said on Wednesday, the latest in a surge of drone attacks targeting the capital. The attempted attack comes a day after the death toll from strikes on the eastern Ukrainian city of Pokrovsk rose to 9. 2 combat drones attempt to fly into the city were recorded. Both were shot down by air defense. That was Mayor Sergey Sobyanin said on Telegram. He said that one drone was downed in the Domodedovo area on the southern outskirts of the city, while the second was shot down in the Minsk highway area west of the capital. He said emergency services were on the ground. Russia's defense ministry and Ukraine attempted the attack using unmanned aerial vehicles. Air defense destroyed 2 UAVs, the ministry said, adding that there was no reported casualties or damage. The strikes are at least the third attack near Moscow within a week. And, of course, that was with others downed on Sunday. And then, I don't know if you guys noticed this. I was out of town, and when I was, it was really nuts. All of our lights were flickering for 3 days straight. And I actually got a text from, I believe it was Wages, that said that we got this huge flare. And I was like, could this be related? It was so much so that, like, we thought maybe there was electrical issues. All of the lights were buzzing and pulsating, and some of the dimmer light ones, the dimmer switch ones, were just going nuts. And it wasn't just like one or two; it was all of them. It was really, really bizarre. And I thought maybe because I'm far away from the city, that there's more effects up here or something. I don't know, but it was really quite wild. It said that the sun has been very active lately, sending out scorching flares and frying communication systems back on Earth. The latest one was recorded on Monday was an X-class flare, disrupted radio and navigation signals across North America. X-class solar flares are the largest, most disruptive of flares, and this one classified as an X1.5, likely disrupted high-frequency radio communications at the sunlit side of Earth. According to the Met Office, the flare burst out of the largest and most active sunspot group currently visible on the sun's disk, and this was the 20th X-flare of the current 11-year solar cycle, which is due to reach its peak next year. Remember, this actually moved up. It moved up about a year with the peak is actually coming faster than they thought. This is also possibly the most unpredictable cycle that we have ever had, and that's at least in this lifetime, or even our grandparents' lifetime, because this is a lot of scientists are looking at even the 22-year cycle and the cycles within cycles, and they say after the last termination event, basically this event that happens before the end of the last cycle, that they believe this is a very certain kind of 11-year cycle. Dex, you showed kind of the thing that Wages did, right? But did you have anything weird happen in Georgia? Because we were having stuff happen for like a whole day. It seemed like 3 days, flashing lights and all sorts of stuff.
You know, I didn't see anything weird, but as I recall, Monday, either Monday or Sunday, we noticed like the radio, and I'm not talking the terrestrial radio, I'm talking satellite radio in the vehicle, was cutting out more. And I know it does that, like if it's the trees are blocking your southern view and it's really dense, sometimes you'll cut the signal out. But it was happening on roads that we drive all the time. We've never had that happen, and it was happening quite a bit. So I don't know if that had any effect, possibly because it's satellite based and it's up in the sky and all that radiation was coming through. So that could have been it. That was probably what we felt and saw on that evening.
iCorticus says, I think Micronova is coming soon. Space River News says our Target store has all their coolers shut down, no meat and dairy for sale. Similar blast in the Middle East, a few years black. Dennis Renlick. Pappy says, wide awake and angry, still want to live life. Scrolled up and saw it was Johnson. What's going on? Comet Moon, Darth V. Oh, Canada. Oh, Canada. Oh, that is a Ren and Stimpy Canadian Mountie song. You are totally right. Remember when these scientists say historic, what the definition of historic means? The Earth is much older than man's recording of its life. Blue Dog, I missed that one, something about satellites. And then Mods can post links, that's correct. Danish Girl, heavy ordnance, so true, but I just want him to know I care. Well, I don't know if... well, I know you care if you're talking about me. That explains why my phone is acting up and we feel so bad. Occam's Razor, my phone had no reception for 2 days in normal places where everybody else had 5 bars. There's been when it really happens, it's not going to be like a little here or there. But I don't know if you guys have noticed in the last like 2 years since this solar cycle started, but the cell phone service and all sorts of other things are so bad. It's not just mine, because we all have different phones, and then my family all has different providers like Verizon, T-Mobile, AT&T. All of them have. We've all had to basically like go airplane mode and then undo it so it reconnects, or literally turn off our phone and turn it back on to get whatever towers are nearby, because it has been so bad. The cell phone reception is bad. The texts are bad. Have you guys noticed in the last couple of years more than ever? I mean, we've had cell phones for nearly 2 decades, or a lot of us have, and it's like it's gotten just horrible. I remember having better service back when we paid for each minute. Like, it's getting ridiculous. I have a razor cut through left BS. Let's see here. Cookielicious, Jules Bailey, UFO mode coming soon. My house is a dead cell phone zone. Wow, I think you're lucky in some ways. Al Gore said internet was supposed to be free. Yeah, that's true. No problem with Verizon. By the way, you probably won't have much problems with Verizon. I don't have Verizon because I hate them. And back in the day when they used to charge for minutes, it was so freaking stupid. Like, I remember one time my phone got left on a call, and it was like something where it wasn't an answering machine, and it rang up like it was on the table just ringing up minutes, and it went like 180 minutes over or something of my plan back in the day, and they literally charged me like $700 for some stupid amount of minutes. And back then I was like, I can't pay that. And they were like, well, you don't have a phone then. But Verizon is one of the best. Like, all of the people that I know that go off grid, if you are going to go off grid, I think Verizon is more expensive. But all the people I know that have Verizon, they'll have reception when we're off in the middle of the mountains. If we're in the woods, they'll have reception when I don't with T-Mobile. I don't know why Verizon is so much better, but that's the only reason if I was to go back to something, it would be that. But I think if I'm in the situation where I'm in off-grid and I'm off-grid mode, then I won't be caring about cell phones anyways. And then we have man held during FBI raid in connection with threats against JB and other officials. So I am sure that there's going to be some shady stuff around this. This gentleman essentially did a video, and he essentially showed his AR and was saying some things about our current prez that were pretty bad. When they came to ask questions about it, apparently there was an accident, and he confronted them, maybe put his hand on something, and then he was gone. A Utah man was perished forcefully by FBI raid early Wednesday morning. The FBI confirmed to ABC News that the raid was in connection with an investigation into alleged threats against President JB and others, according to 2 officials briefed on the case. One of the officials told ABC News that the investigation began in April, and the U.S. Secret Service was notified by the FBI in June. In addition to threatening posts, the official said that the man under investigation suggested online that he was making plans to take physical action. The threats had been deemed credible, the official said. The FBI in Salt Lake City said that the Bang Bang event occurred around 6:15 a.m. local time, while special agents attempted to serve arrest and search warrants at a residence in Provo. The FBI takes all shooting incidents involving our agents' task force members seriously. The FBI said in a statement, in accordance with FBI policy, the shooting incident is under review by the FBI's inspection division. So that's funny. In accordance with review. So the FBI is going to investigate the FBI. Oh yeah, we did nothing wrong. As this is an ongoing matter, we have no further details to provide. ABC News has reached out to U.S. Secret Service for comment, and of course, they never got back to them. So, what do you think? Now, Dex, I tried to look for other details regarding this. It doesn't really say much about this. Do they have body cams at FBI, Or are we not going to know?
That's a good question. I don't know if we'll get if they'll do if they do that. I imagine they probably do if they went into an event like that, as opposed to just being an agent showing up to do questioning. That might be a little different. But the complaints. I don't want to repeat what he said because I don't want it to be taken out of context. But the stuff he said on social media, at least what they're quoting, is they are claiming that were on his social media accounts. We're pretty significant towards the current administration. So, and the fact that the administration was coming to his town, and what he wanted to do, and what type of action he was going to take. So, when you read those statements, it's like, yeah, you don't say that kind of stuff and don't expect a knock on the door. I would think. I've seen people say a lot less about presidents and still have knocks on their door by authorities wanting to understand and get more clarity about what they were doing.
Yeah, like like he has onset dementia or something. What is this? What? What's going on here? Yeah, I'm going to have you come with me right now. We've got to ask you questions. You said that the president has dementia. We have a search warrant for your arrest, and we're going to be checking all of your bathrooms, and we're going to be doing some new floors next door, so we're going to have to imprison you at Guatemala Bay. Guys, I'm back. Sorry about that. That was really, really weird. But again, the president is such a great guy. He's right on the ball. He is very, very smart. Can finish sentences. Or can't. No, can finish sentences. Absolutely. Very, very on point. Continuing on, let's go to the web only web only content. Dex, go ahead.
I'm still choking over Guatemala Bay.
No laugh. No laugh.
Yeah, that's a good one. I appreciate it. Look, folks, there's more news. So let me tell you what else is happening. And this is where the overflow comes in. So if you just click on that show notes link down below in the description, or go to our website, marfooglenews.com, click on the thumbnail for today's show, you'll get to everything that we just covered. Everything we went in depth. If you want to see the images, the videos, all that stuff, it's there. You're going to find this orange bar, and it's called Overflow. It's everything else. So let me give you the rundown of what's happening. Lots of other stuff going on. So again, Moody's has downgraded the U.S. banks. They've done this before. It's sort of a sign of financial, I don't call it instability, but it definitely something to take into consideration when you look at the U.S. banking and how important that is. I'm not running right now to the bank and trying to take all my cash out, little we have, but I do think it is something to take into consideration, especially as we went through those scares with some of the regional banks in the past year and their inability to stay solvent. But pay attention to that one. There is potentially a huge find at a mining company that they basically found. It's in Norway. They basically found all of the amount. I think it was it phosphorus or something. It was one of the components needed in the new electric vehicles, and they found enough to last. It's a raw material, would last for 50 phosphate for 50 years for our growth as the entire globe. It's in this one mine. And so that's a huge discovery. And I don't know, whoever owns that mine is probably even richer now because of it. But when you think of the phosphate that gets combined with lithium for lithium ion phosphate, this is a big deal. So that was found. That's a huge discovery. I think there's probably plenty of that around the globe, but to find everything we need for our entire Earth for 50 plus years in just one mine, that was kind of significant. There's a new creature. It's in Antarctic Sea. It's got like 20 arms. It kind of looks like an octopus / squid combo. So if you want to see what that is, go to our website and then find this link here. You can learn more about it. but it had never been discovered before. So it's a new, and of course, anything with Antarctica is always interesting as well. So, if you did not see what happened at the riverfront brawl, you can get caught up on that. That's here as well. That happened in Montgomery, Alabama. I'm not going to go into the details. I think we posted the video on one of the previous shows in the overflow, but basically a bunch of people just went toe to toe. And the gist of it, as far as the current reports, were the big riverboat was coming in, that takes people out, either I don't know if it was a dining cruise or whatever, and some guys had parked their pontoon boat in the way, and apparently the dock hands decided to move the pontoon boat, and then that caused a kerfuffle, which turned into an all-out brawl on the docks with tons and tons of people. So that's there if you want to know more about what's going on, because a lot of the details early on were not there. Everybody just saw those crazy videos and didn't understand what was actually happening. In the political spectrum, Feinstein, Senator Dianne Feinstein's in the hospital after falling. All of the T-Man stuff and all of that is happening. It's continuing. It's here. We've got it all. Everything that they talk about related to this case, that case, and when. And of course, we're still waiting on Georgia. They're expecting it, I guess, this week or next week, I believe it is. So that's all covered as well. And get this, Kanye is trying to come back. He's, quote, trying to make a career comeback. Do you think he should? I don't know. Let us know. Leave a comment down below. But if you want to know more about his plans for a career comeback, you can take a look. And then Disney is creating a task force to explore AI to cut costs. So, this is one of the things everybody was striking about, was how AI was going to change the writers or the ability for production and things like that a lot of people's jobs have in Hollywood. And of course, we see, Disney's creating a task force to explore actually doing that. So of course those people were right and upset. And there's also still these rumors about Disney being sold to Apple, and they're saying it might even be more realistic this time around. So we've got that. We got a lot more. Tesla actually announced that they're going to eliminate the need for rare earth elements in electric motors. Now, a lot of people are saying, that's kind of a pipe dream. But if they pull that off, that's kind of a big deal too. When you think about these electric motors, I know everybody's not an EV fan. I'm not an EV fan personally, but an electric motor itself is still pretty useful. And the fact that those do require these very expensive and hard to get rare earth elements that China has their hands on the majority of them, and recently said, hey, we're not necessarily going to export those to you guys. You're going to have that stuff manufactured here if you want those rare earth elements. So it'll be interesting to see if the response to that is to be able to develop an electric motor that doesn't even need them. That would be interesting. So that and so much more, including an alligator swimming through a lake. If you want to see it all, it's right there on our website, marfooglenews.com, or open up that show notes link down below in the description. It'll take you right here.
All right, well, thank you, Dex. I appreciate that. And, of course, thank you, Bible Talk 777. Thank you, of course, Brian Hillary, Thoth 777, Lola Cafe, I Don't Know. Let's see here. We have Lisa Douglas. Thank you. Gen X Voice. We have Nana of Montana, West of the West. Thank you for your support tonight. And Mystery School, Mitch Mouth, Carol White, C-Mac. Over on D-Live, thank you so much. Over to Johnson, Comet Moon, Yobi. We have Jammer. Thank you, Moxie71, Zenato, Between Rhymes. Thank you for following. Cookielicious and Kiki Gray. Thank you for holding it down over there, mods. I appreciate you. And then remember to go over to marfooglenews.com/friends. Again, thank you. All right, and then let's see here. Oh, yeah, and make sure to tune into Marfoogle News tomorrow, our sister channel. Definitely want to go over and subscribe to that and share this channel out. And if you haven't already, make sure to hit subscribe if you're not subscribed. We're closing in on that 200,000, but they are constantly cleaning out anybody from way back that is not subscribed. So it's don't know if we'll hit that, but Dex, go ahead.
Well, and if you aren't subscribed to Marfoogle News, you got a good reason to. Go check out the video we just did tonight. That's really, really, really important.
Yes, it is. That alert going out on October 4th. So make sure to go check that out. marfuglenews.com. You can find all of it there. Thank you to the mods. Thank you, of course, Brian Hillary. Lost phone service. Well, luckily you were able to see the show first. And then it's so crazy. Yeah, the phone service is just getting worse and worse and worse. All right. Yeah, but supposedly it's supposed to get better. I remember when they first came out with the 5th gen, I thought, oh, it's going to be so much faster. I think it's worse. But who knows what that's all about. And then super thanks on the last show. Thank you, and thank you, Mr. School. It says happy B-Day to the creator who introduced me to y'all, Naughty Beaver. Stephanie Cook, 2441, thank you. And then member Stephanie Cook, thank you. Able Body, also great mod. Thank you so much. It says great show. Dex, thanks for all the updates over on Not a Drill. And then Isla Romero. Thank you so much. Great job, Dex. You were doing just fine. Thanks for the news this week and keeping us informed. Thank you, Isela Romero. I appreciate that. And Dex, thank you so much.
Much love. Great job, brother.
All right, you guys be safe, be prepared, and Marf out. We will see you tomorrow. Again, love you. It's time for the shoutro. It's not an outro. It's not a shout out. It's a shoutro. Doing just fine. Oh, everybody living it on a mushroom cloud nine. Everybody here doing just fine. Oh, everyone living out here on a mushroom cloud nine. Everybody here doing just fine. Oh. Everybody out here living on a mushroom cloud nine. Everybody out here doing just fine. Oh. Of red or blue pill, high old current of frog, yeah. And the wages, everybody gonna go with you. All of them do the right and yes, we still to the hey, I would a dart be a dumb John C. hard thing. I reach it, cold mountain before you. I zero berry, yes, and I love you. I play plain reality, please look and do the info and share it and it with it. Have it inflation because it reserves. Hey, with the ding it on the ding it just. I said the bed with the bed on the bed of word. I said no IDK word. A nickel marching, they'll all white ass. A wet bed, think about it in the winter way. Yo, did you know when the lead on the MD? I was in the beam, man, everybody gonna see. I lead I'm on the baby, I lead I lead Lisbon. I'm deep in the wild, and I'm a mummy, I'm a captain, I'm a partner, the bear and not a naughty beaver. It's a channel on the YouTube. I would a jack on it. I think the time in the Donny Hamby. I wolf in the jam, number one. I knew nothing, thanks for the boy. Done it for me. I did it in the AC in the same way. IDDK. Hey, everybody out here doing just fine. Oh. Everybody out here living on a mushroom cloud nine. Everybody out here doing just fine. I'm in the I'm in the midst of the deplorable misery. A big lead in the I see a Lord and the Andrew, Sherry in the Megaland. I'm doing it back now, everybody getting it. I digest, and the money touches in. And then Z in the Zen with AZ. Captain on the partner, I went with a bit. I'm in Wagner, a diagram and putting it. Viviana, your time. I love it, jam. I love it, jam song. Where's the west with the nah, baby? I'm in the wild now, everybody get it. Doing nothing in the on now, give it I'm gonna bang now, everybody got it cool. I got it Sherry McClellan in the wild. Hey, I wanna get